Yeah, that's the other sort of angle there.
Ah, yeah. I can see that one. Okay, we're ready to go? You all keep commenting on my videos. Start a podcast, start a talk show. Here I am, Unscripted. This is going to be a podcast where I've talked to extraordinary people about their lives and things that they do and the challenges they've faced and how they've overcome them. The idea behind this podcast is to help, support, and inspire you using lived experiences. My promise to you is that I'm going to bring you extraordinary guests that are going to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. My name is Amit Ghose, for those of you that don't know, and I was born with this rare genetic condition called neurofibromatosis. Don't worry, it's not a name you're going to remember or even pronounce, but it's more commonly known as NF1. It causes tumours to grow on nerves. It can grow anywhere in the body. For me, it grew on my face, making me look very visibly different. So I couldn't really hide it when I was in school. Not a lot of people wanted to sit next to me. Not a lot of people wanted to be my friend. Some because they were scared. Others were just curious. Some just stared at me. And I remember, in the playground when, kids used to play football or pick teams, everyone would run. They had two captains. Think about this. You have two captains in the playground and they're picking teams, and I'm just waiting around thinking, am I going to get picked? But I knew something had to change. At that age, you don't quite understand what depression and anxiety is. And thinking back now to those days, I know I was going through depression and anxiety because I didn't want to be in front of other kids. I didn't want to go to school. I came up with all the excuses in the world not to go to school. One of the things that I loved, one of the things that made me who I was cricket. And I never had the courage to play with other children because I was scared. I was scared of rejection. I was scared that they wouldn't want to play with me. I was scared that they would bully me. So I used to play in my garden. I used to bowl to the wall. But one summer's day in year 6, things changed. I somehow mustered up this courage to go and ask a group of boys if I can play cricket with them. First, they laughed, they mocked me. But reluctantly, they handed me the ball. And I still remember the guy batting was holding the bat with one hand, thinking, what's this guy going to do? He's just swinging it around, laughing. Little did he know that I've been bowling for the last 2 years in my garden. Anyway, here I come running in, and I bowl. He swings, and he misses. Suddenly, there's a gasp in the playground. Everyone's like, hey, this guy can play. Yeah. They throw the ball back at me, like, get him out then. So I'm coming back, bowling. I've got my seam up. For those of you that know cricket, I'm running in. I'm staring at his feet. I'm going to bowl a Yorker. There weren't wickets. There were bins in the playground, as you know. So the bin was the wicket. It's standing in front of it. I'm running in. Imagine this. I'm coming in and I bowl and I hit those bins. Suddenly there's a cheer and everyone's like, hey, well done, well done. And the PE teacher is watching this as it happens. The PE teacher comes up to me and says, hey, would you like to join our cricket club? We've got a team. We're going to go and play some games with some of the schools. It's going to be fantastic. Join. So I join. We go, we play some games, and I play really well. In fact, I've become one of the highest wicket takers that school has had up until that point. Now, why am I telling you this entire story? I'm telling you this story because it was at that point I went from Amit, the boy who has a funny face, to Amit, the boy who loves cricket. You, my friends, need to embrace who you are. You need to enjoy your identity. You need to enjoy your hobbies, your likes, your interests, and bring them out to the world. Because the moment you do that, people will connect with you differently. For those of you that have never seen me before, you're watching me for the first time, when you started this video, you're like, what happened to that guy's face? But now you're like, hey, this is that guy who's started a new podcast channel called Unscripted. He's going to interview amazing people over the next few weeks, next few months. This is going to be really exciting. I'm going to subscribe to this guy. And I'm going to go away and I'm going to embrace who I am too. The first step of confidence, and as we go through these episodes, I'm going to talk about different steps of confidence that you can take. The first step of confidence is embracing your personality. Friends, I have had an extraordinary journey in the last 2 years. Extraordinary. I was never a content creator. I was never an advocate for the visibly different community. But something happened in the last 2 years, which I'll talk about as the episodes go on and talk to you more about it. But something happened that got me to this point where now I have over 300,000 followers across my channels on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I've even wrote a book. I never thought I'm going to be an author. This podcast is for anybody who has ever felt that they don't belong, they don't fit in. You know, we struggle as individuals with acceptance. We seek validation externally. I talk a lot about this piece about constantly seeking validation externally. We're looking to be liked by our friends, our family, our spouses, our bosses. But do we really spend enough time liking ourselves? I want this podcast to be about you listening to it on a morning before going into work and saying, actually, you know what? I'm ready for the day. You know what? I've got this. Because we don't do that enough. We don't tell ourselves enough that we are good enough, and we are. I ask this really funny question to people sometimes when I'm doing a talk, and I say in a college or something, I'll say, hey, would you go on a date with yourself? And everyone just looks at each other and goes, and smiles and giggles. But think about it. Would you go on a date with yourself? If you're not going to spend half an hour with yourself, why would anyone else do that? And the same thing applies to work, to an interview. If you're not going to back yourself, why would anyone else back you? You are your biggest believer, and I want this podcast to help you actually believe that you can do it, because you can. If I can. My background was in sales. I never did this. I started by telling you I worked in sales, and then something happened. I quit my job, and here I am, 300,000 followers, a book. This book became the bestseller in USA within its first week in new releases, children's category. If I can, you surely can too. And my ask to you is subscribe to the channel. My promise to you is that I will help you change your life using my lived experience, using my guests' lived experience. Some of my guests have been through a lot of pain, but they've changed it into purpose. And I want you to listen, because we all have pain in our life and we can all change it into purpose. We all have a story that we can tell that can inspire others. And these guests have stories that can inspire